now I will be talking about design for sustainability in a very summarized way. I will be sharing some strategies that any sustainable designer can employ during a design process with some examples. So circular design, I assume that you're familiar with the concept, but it basically involves designing for circular economy and rethinking the process of designing, the process of producing, and the process of using a product through its entire life cycle. So this is one of the graphs that you might see all the time when you Google circular economy. This is one of the famous graphs. And today I will be showing some strategies on the right side. So left side is basically strategies that you can follow when your industry, when your idea based on renewable materials. And the right one is if you're producing value by using, producing a product by using finite materials. So the key thing in this graphic, the important lesson here is that you need to be focusing on smaller loops, because the bigger the loop, and it is, the less your impact will be when you're employing a circular economy approach. So for example, recycle is less preferred than reusing. So let's see a couple of strategies, circular design strategies designers have been using for some time. So recycling, of course, is one of the most commonly used techniques. So in a sense, you are using recycled or recyclable materials in the production of new artifacts. For example, in this chair, the main material is 100% recycled plastics, these water bottles and their caps, etc. So alternative to recycling, you can refurbish a broken, discarded product or a material. You can provide a refinish, a new look. So it's good that even when you visit Amazon website, for example, you can select refurbished products. So there is also today, in today's world, you can purchase these things online, which is a good thing. And refurbishment is basically you take a discarded product or a discarded material, you change the surface finishing, or you treat the material in a way that it looks brand new. So for example, you can kind of, imagine that when somebody just discard an iPhone just because of the screen scratches. So there's actually a treatment that you can use in order to conceal these scratches and, have a good looking iPhone. So the third strategy that you can use is reuse. Again, in this case, we are using a discarded product, a component, or a material, or the same or a similar function it originally served. And here the important thing is that your processing should be minimum. So we are shifting the product, but like, for example, by using cold processing, as in this case. So here we are using wine bottles, broken wine glasses, wine bottles in order to produce some kitchen utensils. So the fourth technique actually is increasing the lifespan and durability of a product. So durability has two sides. One of them is physical durability. So you can opt for manufacturing a product with high quality and durable materials, like in this case, stainless steel. Or we can also talk about emotional durability. So designing products that maintain its emotional value in the long run. So sometimes, because even though the material is durable, if the user feel that like this product is old and broken, they might discard that product. So emotional durability is addressing that need. So for example, there's this Japanese art form called kinjutsu. So this is basically, you take a broken vessel, and then you, by using glue and by using gold and precious metals, you glue it and you create a totally different piece, unique piece that can be cherished by its users. The other technique that you can use is universal design. Universal design is basically creating adaptable, aesthetically pleasing products that can maintain its value in the long run. So the product that you see in the background image is a shelving system designed by Dieter Rams, the German designer, in 60s. And the company has been selling the same exact piece since 60s. So it's been 60 years and there is no change in any kind of any part of this design. So they are producing the same materials. They start using recyclable materials, but they are producing the same amount of materials. They are producing the same structure, and people are not bored of this because it looks minimalistic and it looks aesthetically pleasing. So another technique that you can use is servicizing. It's basically you're shifting ownership to temporary access through services. So recently, Philips announced this idea of instead of selling light bulbs, they start to sell light. So consumers do not purchase lights, but they pay for the amount of consumption they have in terms of lighting. So servicizing is an example for that. You can dematerialize a product category, and basically dematerializing is delivering a utility by using the minimum amount of material as much as possible. So this Walkman is a great example of that. So when I was a kid, these things are very popular. When I was in high school, they were still popular. So there's this physical thing, physical cassette player and physical compact disc, etc. You know, these headphones. But right now we are using Spotify and iTunes. So the entire industry is kind of dematerialized in that aspect. So another strategy that you can use is modularity. So designing products in a way that they are easier to repair, easier to manufacture, and easier to refurbish. So Fairphone, maybe you heard of it. It's a great example for that. So all of these parts are modular, and if you would like to upgrade your phone, you can easily change it. And another strategy, the last strategy that I would like to mention is this intelligent products. So using technology to gather user data and improve user experience while optimizing consumption for the sake of the environment. For example, Google Nest is a smart thermostat. It kind of records user behavior. For example, when you are in the home, when you're out the home, outside at the home. So you're setting preferences in terms of humidity and climate, indoor temperature, etc. Based on that, it kind of adjusts the heating of a house so that it can save some energy by using these intelligent sensors, etc. So alternatively, you can rely on technology in order to improve the environmental impact of product.